the craziest interrogation of a 15-year-old killer. Today, we're diving into a real-life horror story that will leave you with chills down your spine. We're talking about the 15-year-old killer who shockingly murdered his entire family. I mean, can you imagine? It's like something straight out of a horror movie. This case has been all over the news and social media, and for good reason. It's not every day that you hear about a teenager committing such a heinous crime. So, let's get into the details and find out what really happened. Who was this kid and what could have driven him to do something so extreme? Did he have a troubled past? Was he dealing with some mental health issues? Or was it something else entirely? We're going to dig deep and try to get to the bottom of this mystery. And let's not forget about the aftermath of this crime. How did the community react? What was the media's response? And most importantly, what was the punishment for this young killer? Now, fair warning, this video is not for the faint of heart. We're going to be discussing some pretty disturbing details, so viewer discretion is advised. But if you're up for it, then buckle up because we're in for a wild ride. So, grab your popcorn and get ready to be shocked, saddened, and maybe even a little scared as we delve into the chilling story of the 15-year-old killer who killed his entire family. The Brownings were a tragic family whose story shook the entire community of Cockeysville in Baltimore, Maryland on February 1st, 2008. The family was composed of John, a successful lawyer and community member, Tamara, a dedicated homemaker, and their three sons, Nicholas, Gregory, and Benjamin. Nicholas, the eldest, was described as a golden boy, an honor student, star athlete, and dedicated Boy Scout. However, on February 1st, 2008, everything changed when Nick killed his entire family, including his parents and two younger brothers. Despite finding his family murdered, he showed no emotions and even ordered burgers and fries like he was in a restaurant. The murders shocked the entire community, and police found the scene staged to look like a break-in. However, they quickly discovered that nothing in the house was missing, and all the doors and windows were intact. The only remaining family member, Nick, claimed to be at a friend's house during the murders. As investigators talked to Nick's friends, they learned that Nick was not the golden boy he appeared to be. During a sleepover, Nick had snuck back home to take his father's gun and kill his family. His motive was greed. He wanted to inherit his parents' estate. Nick's friends also revealed that Nick had told him he was going to take the family car out for a ride, but failed to show up. When his friends called him, Nick claimed to have fallen asleep in the car, waiting for his family to go to bed so he could get the car keys. The murders sent shockwaves through the community, and Nick's motive left people horrified. Despite being only 15 years old, he was charged as an adult and faced life in prison. The father, John Browning, was found on the living room couch with blood coming from his nose, while the mother, Tamara, was upstairs with a single gunshot wound to her head. The two younger brothers, Gregory and Benjamin, were also murdered in cold blood in their beds. The police were called to the scene by Nicholas, who told them that he had been at a friend's house when the murders occurred. They began to suspect Nicholas was responsible, and his unemotional behavior and lies to the police only fueled their suspicions. It soon became clear that Nicholas had killed his entire family, including his two younger brothers, for their inheritance. The murders of the Browning family shook the entire community, who struggled to understand how someone could wipe out an entire family. Nicholas Browning, the greedy 15-year-old killer, had destroyed a loving family and shattered the lives of those who knew them. He used his father's gun to commit the murders and then calmly went back to playing video games with his friends. As investigators looked for clues and suspects, they discovered that nothing in the house was missing and all the doors and windows were intact. This suggested that the killer was either familiar with the house or had the key. Nicholas's friends also provided crucial information that made investigators suspect him. They revealed that he had snuck back to his house during the sleepover, claiming he was going to get the family car and take them for a ride. Despite Nicholas's attempts to cover up his crime, the evidence pointed squarely at him. His motive for the killings was greed, and he wanted to inherit his family's wealth. That day, Nicholas spent the night at a friend's house, and the next day, he and his friends went to the mall and did some shopping before heading over to Nick's house in the afternoon. As his friends waited outside, Nick went inside the house using the garage door, but moments later, he came out with a horror-stricken face and said that he had found his dad's dead body on the ground floor. The police arrived on the scene and found the bodies of 4 people, a man, a woman, and 2 boys. The only remaining family member was Nick, and he told detectives that he had been at a friend's house when everything happened, and when he came home he found his family dead. The investigation revealed that Nick was the one who had asked his younger brother, Greg, to open the door, and he lied to the police about it. Hours later, when he failed to show up, one of his friends called him to check where he was. Nick claimed that he had fallen asleep in his car, but investigators believed that Nick was hiding something, and the fact that he was unemotional about losing his family made them suspect that he might be the killer. Nick's behavior after the tragedy of his family's murder is both perplexing and disturbing. Despite being the only surviving family member, Nick shows little emotion or concern for his deceased parents and younger brothers. His lack of empathy is unnerving, given the magnitude of the crime he is supposed to be grieving. The fact that he staged the scene to look like a break-in and claimed to have found his family murdered only adds to the suspicion surrounding him. As the investigation continued, Nick's friends revealed that he was not the golden boy that he appeared to be. Nicholas was arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. His trial was a media sensation, and the community was in shock that someone they knew so well could do something so evil. The prosecution argued that Nicholas had murdered his family for the inheritance money, as his father's estate was worth millions of dollars. The defense argued that Nicholas was a victim of emotional and physical abuse, and that the stress of being the golden boy had driven him to commit the murders. In the end, the evidence was overwhelming, and Nicholas was found guilty on all 4 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The Cockeysville community finally got justice for the Browning family, and they could finally begin to heal from the traumatic event that shook their town. The aftermath of the murder of the Browning family left the Cockeysville community in a state of shock and disbelief. Candles and flowers were placed outside the Browning home in honor of the family, and neighbors watched as the Baltimore County Police investigated the crime scene. As the investigation progressed, the community was left reeling with the realization that the killer was one of their own, 15-year-old Nicholas Browning. It was later revealed that Nicholas had murdered his entire family, with the motive being the inheritance he would receive from their deaths. The community was left grappling with the reality that a seemingly family had been destroyed from within. The healing process for the Cockeysville community was a slow one, with many struggling to come to terms with the horrific events that had taken place. The shock and grief of losing such a well-respected family were palpable, and many sought solace in counseling and therapy. The community came together to support each other, sharing memories and expressing their grief, while also finding ways to honor the memory of the Browning family. The tragedy brought to light the importance of mental health and the need to identify signs of distress in young people before it is too late. The community worked towards creating awareness and resources for mental health to prevent similar incidents from happening again in the future. That's it for this video. See you in the next video.